Let's get it. As one, Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Must be faith-based Friday. You know, my faith was tested today. I had a situation with, as you can see, have no headphones today because actually today's Move Swiftly thought I'll be reacting to the recent LeBron Stephen A news. You know, LeBron did a appearance on Pat McAfee, in which I tuned into. So yesterday I tuned into the whole thing throughout the day, and I don't usually use my headphones throughout the day, but I guess I had to pay the price because this morning I could not get them to work at all. And like mentally I was already kind of the mindset that I'm going to take a rest day because I have been putting a lot of miles on the legs for the past couple weeks and whatnot. So, you know, had to take a little 2-mile run today and just kind of get it warmed up. Didn't have my headphones, couldn't get myself as hype as I normally am. I had to, you know, rely on the faith-based Friday, knowing that I had to listen to the sermon. I'll dive into that in the live stream later, but listen to the sermon, get myself right, and then decide, hey, when adversity hits, what are you going to do? How are you going to react? All that kind of stuff. And this is one of the things, actually, that I create the faith-based Friday for, because whenever, now, you know, something as small as headphones not working and stuff like that isn't as big as other things, but still, whenever your normal routine is, you know, breached and you can't get your own routine and certain things happen, how do you adjust? How do you react? How do you make it so you still get something out of the situation, still getting something out of this morning's run, still doing something productive, still moving in the positive direction, all right? That's what it's all about. It's adjusting whenever certain things happen that are unexpected and that break your routine. So, all that being said, let's get to this because it was, man, oh man, LeBron James on Pat McAfee. It was absolutely on a repeat. In fact, I heard one reporter say, look, I ain't even going to watch ESPN the whole day because they're going to play that clip and play it over and over and over again. And to the point where now you talk me, when it comes to me, I'm born 1989, played sports throughout my entire life, been involved in sports throughout my entire life. So when I first saw, I've seen LeBron from high school to 40-year-old man. And, you know, again, just listening to the interview in itself was fairly rewarding. And I came out and said, even though, again, I believe LeBron is the GOAT, I am, you know, a LeBron fan, I said he was wrong to approach Stephen A. Smith the way he did when he did it, you know, a couple of weeks ago and all that. I said that, and I took Stephen A. Smith's side in that regard. Now I'm going to take LeBron's side. I loved it. I loved the entire hour, I believe it's like hour and 12-minute interview on Pat McAfee Show because he was as authentic as I think I've ever seen him, and I think a lot of people would agree who haven't really seen that side of him. I thought he was as, you know, humanized. He was humanized. You're talking about someone, again, who has been dubbed the Phenom since he was 17 years old, since he was a junior. Yeah, like a junior in high school. Been, you know, basically told how great he is by a lot of adults. And I think what he did on Pat McAfee Show is it very much humanized him. It humanized him to allow people to see a side of him where he likes to, you know, crack jokes, have fun. Like, you know, so many people made a big deal about how he said Giannis would score 250 points. And I mean, obviously he's exaggerating, he's being tongue in cheek, he's just being fun. And that's what the show is about. The show, Pat McAfee Show, excuse me, Pat McAfee Show is about, you know, guys getting together and just talking sports, talking shop. And yeah, we're going to exaggerate a little bit. You're going to play around. You're going to say certain things that, I mean, does he really believe that he's going to score 250 points? I don't know. But they're just playing around. They're just talking shop. That's why ESPN acquired Pat McAfee. And that's why, if you can recall, when J.J. Redick first got the job for the Lakers, when he first got hired as the head coach, I came on this very platform and I said podcasting and having a podcast, developing an online presence, developing an online personality, that's the new way of doing job interviews. That's the new way of showing the public, showing a future employer, you know, promoting things. That's how it has to be done, is developing an authenticity online that whoever you're looking to attract in your world, whoever you want to be a part, like whatever role and whatever things you want to be a part of, that's how you do it. So, you know, the takes that I really disagreed with, obviously, you know, I caught some of what Stephen A. Smith said, and, you know, I agree with LeBron. He's loving every minute of this. He's loving the publicity because he's a member of the media. And with the media, you got to figure out how you're going to get eyeballs on your stuff. And every time LeBron addresses Stephen A, now the whole internet goes crazy because it's just online and it's them two seeming to be feuding and things like that. Stephen A. Smith benefits off this, whether it's positive or negative press. He benefits off this. That's what it is. Like I was telling you yesterday, he's actually benefiting when athletes spend the time to engage him in any way, positive, negative, whatever it is. What I enjoyed about that interview is that it wasn't just about Stephen A. Smith. It was about the fact that he's promoting his new podcast with Steve Nash, and the podcast that he had, it's called Mind the Game. The podcast that he had with JJ Redick, it was all about the game of basketball. Same way I have a whole channel dedicated to just watching the game of football. And the point about it, and the main thing, I think the main takeaway from this entire thing is that we are seeing the end of the basketball player playing career of LeBron James. We're seeing it start to come to an end, and we're going to start to see him now be a whole lot more humanized and come back and, kind of address a lot of the things that he's kind of taken on the chin throughout his 20 years. There was so much nonsense said about him, so much hate, so much venom, so many nasty, nasty things that I've heard people say about him over the past 2 decades of him playing. And I just love the fact that he's now starting to not really showing he don't give a fuck and really being able to develop a voice. So, again, I enjoyed the interview, and I think it's so much that young athletes can learn from it in terms of how you address, how you develop a authenticity as you're being interviewed, how you develop an authenticity online, how you develop an online presence, and how you really truly start to just stick up for yourself, not in a mean or nasty way, but in a way in which is just authentic to you and making it so you're just, again, one of the guys, and that's one of the things that really, really caught my attention, is the fact that we're talking about the greatest athlete that we've ever seen, and he's chopping it up with some boys, talking football, talking the same thing. I thought that was absolutely great, and there's a lot of things that athletes can learn from it. All this talk about how he played the victim role and all that's just media folks trying to get clicks and likes and stuff like that. I enjoyed it. You can learn a lot from it, and there's something to be said about sort of the model that he's been able to create throughout the past 20 years. So all that being said, main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I'm doing, it's makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one, Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.